Maya and Lucas are experiencing some very confusing feelings because, there's a bit of a triangle, I guess, if you will. But everything's gonna be fine. Don't you worry your pretty little mind.
Okay, the two people on the show that are most likely to date. Oh, I don't want to. Oh.
Now, I have issues with Season 3, like the really corny opening sequence, but I can safely say it's much better than Season 2. It started off well with the main characters looking at the harsh reality of high school, which is something that most Disney teen sitcoms failed at, but I was disappointed when they revealed at the end that those jerks weren't actually jerks, but they were just helping them. Why does every single character of this show has to be like the most generous person ever? Is no one here an asshole? Anyway, the show also greatly focused more on resolving the love triangle and explored Maya's character more. Now, everything was going well until Girl Meets Ski Lodge. Before I talk about this episode, let me just comment on one little thing. Now, it hasn't always been the case for me, but I don't like laugh tracks, and I think they're manipulative. And one thing that Girl Meets World does is limit their usage of laugh tracks. That sounds great on paper, but there's one catch. These first few episodes of Season 3 were a little more dramatic than usual, so they have many scenes where no laugh tracks play at all for dramatic effect. And unfortunately, it feels kind of manipulative to me. It feels like they're trying to tell me when not to laugh and instead feel sad or serious. Yes, I know it's silly to complain that scenes don't play laugh tracks, but hey, all of this could have been avoided if they had just removed laugh tracks permanently. Anyway, Girl Meets Ski Lodge is a good episode, but then it sucks when you start to think about it. The thing that harms this episode isn't necessarily the quality, but more about what it meant to Girl Meets World. Cause really when you start to think about it, this episode just reset the show to the first half of Season 2, back when it was just Lucas and Riley, when Maya had a crush on Corey's brother, and when Maya was just Maya. Given that the past few episodes Maya was becoming Riley, which is why she had feelings for Lucas, because she wanted to know what it's like to be Riley, because she wanted to protect her by being her. You know what? I'm losing patience for these explanations. Maybe it's just best if we just assume what they're saying makes sense. Now, what bothers me about this isn't necessarily the fact that we're back to the first half of Season 2. In fact, that was the last time I wasn't pissed off at Girl Meets World. My problem is that it made all of those love triangle episodes completely pointless. I don't understand why they didn't just fill those love triangle episodes with moments where we get to observe Shaun and Katy's chemistry. Heck, it would have given Girl Meets Forgiveness more context and emotional power. Honestly, when Shaun and Katy got married, I was only happy for Maya because she would grow up with a father, and she liked Shaun, not because I was craving for them to be together. I know Shaun and Katy like each other, but I haven't seen much of them together to agree that they should be together. By the way, another proof that they were set to the first half of Season 2 is the fact that they're finally giving the Shaun-Katy arc more attention after being dropped during the second half. But after Girl Meets Ski Lodge, Lucas and Riley finally got together, I think. After that, Katy and Shaun got married. Then after that, they returned to its life lecturing roots, and I'll be honest, they didn't piss me off, at least not as much as Season 2. I think one of the reasons for that is that they weren't interrupting any story arcs. Speaking of interrupting story arcs, in the first episode of Season 3, it was revealed that Ava's parents were breaking up, and unfortunately that was never brought up again. Now, I'm not necessarily disappointed that they didn't tackle this issue again. I'm more disappointed that they chose to start the season like this. The first episode is the introduction of the season, and when you start the season with Ava's parents breaking up, it implies that a part of the season consists of Ava dealing with her parents breaking up. But this issue was ignored throughout the entire season. But getting back on topic, another reason for why I got less pissed off is that finally, after so long, one of these topical episodes got personal to one of the characters to the point that its impact was noticeable in later episodes. I'm of course talking about Fargo finding out that his old relatives were Jewish. Can you recall the last time something like this happened after Season 1? When did any of these characters ever applied or even brought up the lessons they learned about feminism, religion, donation, communism? They haven't, because these lessons were clearly not meant to impact their lives, but actually just to teach a lesson to the audience. I'm glad there are moments like these where even in the life lecture episodes, characters can be developed and not just pretend to be developed. Though the acting still sucks.
Slumber party over.
Of course, not every single life lecturing episode was tolerable. I think my least favorite out of all of them was Girl Meets Monster. My gripe with that episode is that they didn't build up Riley's rebellion, not even using reincorporation in the same episode. Before this episode, Riley didn't even show signs of rebellion. The episode just started with her embracing rebellion, and the reason they gave for Riley disobeying her mother's orders was that Riley felt it was okay to do it because it was expected, since she's 14 now, and she just doesn't want Topanga to win. Seriously, the way how I'm interpreting this is Riley decided to rebel against her mother because teenager. You know, even rebellious teenagers have motives, and most of all, character build. I'm not saying it's unlikely that Riley would rebel against her mother, but a little character build wouldn't hurt. Also, the way this episode ended was like the cheesiest way ever. It ended with both Riley and Topanga feeling guilty and running towards each other to apologize, and then at the very end they were both sitting by the door in parallel while a sad song was playing in the background. I accidentally laughed.
Next Friday,
They just named me the head of our London office.
it's time to say goodbye.
What if none of us are ready for this?
Be here for the Disney Channel event
How can I pretend that this isn't happening?
We need to face this, Riles.
where two worlds will come together for one big decision.
You've always given us our best advice.
I'm sure you'll choose wisely.
Time to say goodbye to Girl Meets World.
So we finally got the last episode of the entire series. For now. I think I got what I was expecting. I wasn't disappointed, but I also wasn't particularly wowed by it. I did like how the London news was getting to the characters, and I mean every single character, even the background characters. I like Augie and Ava's side of the story. I enjoyed the callbacks to previous episodes, but at the end of the day, I wasn't amazed by it. One of the reasons for that is that the episode was acting like nothing would be the same after this episode. But aside from Maya being officially adopted, which isn't really much of a big deal because Shaun was already married to Katy, nothing really changed. If the plot of this episode was used to occupy a mid-season slot, it would have worked just as fine. Oh, and then the episode ended with Riley and Maya appreciating each other as if they didn't already do that in every single episode to the point where I'm desensitized by it. But whatever, 9.4 out of 10. Overall, I think Girl Meets World is above all right. I know not everyone are like those IMDb users who overrate the episodes of this show, but the fact that it actually happened, the fact that these episodes maintain all of these high ratings feels wrong. I understand that Girl Meets World teaches a very important lesson that hits your nostalgia, I guess, I don't know. But let me just make it clear that I don't watch this as a life lecturing program. I watch this as a television show, and I have standards for TV shows. Maybe if all that was important to me in a TV show was education, we would be standing the same point of view, but that's not the case. I also value acting, directing, writing, sound editing, and other things. Like, will people rate the majority of these episodes from 8.4 to 9 out of 10? Are they just ignoring the technical side of the show, or am I just being unfair? Like, am I the only one who feels this show is kind of cheap? I mean, even if you ignore the technical side, the writing itself also feels cheap. I mean, are we going to pretend that the love triangle was some sort of inspired, personal, realistic, and important event for the characters in terms of developing them? No, it was a cheap way to attract viewership, and a nonsensical explanation for why Maya had feelings for Lucas and the fact that they had to stretch the entire storyline proves my point. And let's not even mention how some of the episodes had recycled plots from Boy Meets World, and I didn't have to watch Boy Meets World to know that. However, to be completely fair, opinions are subjective, and I respect the fact that some people enjoy this more than me. At least I can kind of understand where people are coming from. I may have issues with the show, but I do admire the amount of heart that was put in, and everyone's response towards the show's constellations reflect that. If I had to pick a favorite episode, it would be Girl Meets First Date. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye for now.